Welcome to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price. Delighted to be with you. Going to spend some time talking to you about you and your business. It's the national television show on the Biz TV network, and it's also rebroadcast on Business Talk 1110 AM in Houston, Texas. I've got a great lineup for you today. Robert Kiyosaki, author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, one of the best-selling business authors in decades. He's going to be on the show in upcoming segments. And, in fact, we're going to go really deep on our current economic crisis, what's happening out there in the financial front that every single one of us should be aware of. But this first segment, I'm really excited. I'm a huge fan of The Hill. I check it out constantly. It's a newspaper there on Capitol Hill as well as a website. The website has become one of the fastest growing and one of the most influential in the political front out there. And the reason why is I think it really does strive for quality journalism and objectivity. Jonathan Swan, welcome to the program. How are you, sir?
Oh, I'm very well, Kevin. Thank you for having me.
Glad to have you. And kind of give us a little bit of background on both The Hill and what you do, what your beat is.
So I think you described The Hill very well. We cover policy and politics from D.C., but we have a growing campaign team, and I'm on the campaign team. I cover 2016 presidential election, and I mostly focus on money. So I talk to a lot of the donors who are funding these candidates and writing the big checks to the candidates.
Very good. Talk about this 2016 race. You know, a couple decades ago, they talked about anyone with a computer science degree is now destroying their degree. I think that may be happening with their political science degree. I mean, it's pretty tough out there for people to even try to figure out what's happening. It's all of a sudden guys like Ted Cruz, who's been in the Senate for 2010, and Rand Paul since 2000. Cruz 2012 and Paul 2010. All of a sudden, these guys are old-timers who are part of the machine, when in any other political cycle, they would have been called upstarts who weren't ready for the job. And the front runner has absolutely no political experience in the professional sense of the word at all, being Donald Trump. I mean, it's pretty bizarre.
Yeah, and I think to add to your people who are struggling to find a reason for their existence are political consultants, because if you look at before, if you cast your mind back to June, people were saying, well, Jeb Bush is looking really good because he's got $103 million in his super PAC, his independent expenditure group, and he's just got to, blast the airwaves, and, past cycles prove that is really what counts in the end. And they've spent $50 million, and he's gone backwards in the polls. He's now in low single digits. So all these very high-priced consultants who are advising his super PAC desperately try to justify their existence at the moment.
Yeah.
Whereas Donald Trump has spent almost nothing. He's finally started to spend a little bit of money on advertising, but basically he has enjoyed unprecedented amounts of free media coverage. It's turned everything upside down.
Yeah, the consultants are literally in an existential battle, aren't they?
Absolutely, because what do you say? I mean, you imagine you're Mike Murphy, this veteran political consultant who's running Jeb Bush's super PAC, and he sits down every few days on a conference call with his donors, and they say, Mike, what's happening with that $1 million check I wrote you? It doesn't seem to be working. And he has to convince them that there's actually a grand plan and this is phase one or whatever.
Yeah. Jonathan Swan is with The Hill. It's thehill.com. Jonathan Swan. Can I hold you through the break?
You can do that.
All right. When we come back, more for you right here on The Price of Business.